Divorce can be tricky, but what gets even trickier is after divorce. Take it from somebody who knows, that would be me. This whole after divorce and finding yourself and exploring new ideas and finding who you are is such a wonderful journey. Despite the challenges that I went through after my divorce, it's been a great discovery to find out who I really am. When you think about dating after divorce, it gets a little intense. So, wait or date after divorce. It's um it's a subject that I think people don't like to talk about. Honestly, as high as the numbers are about divorce, I'm really surprised that nobody really wants to talk about dating after divorce. I think it should be like a special club. I do have to be transparent with you and say, since my divorce, I have not dated anyone. And that's just been a choice of mine. I know that I have been on a personal discovery for myself when it comes to navigating who I really am, what I really want, what about myself has changed, what type of person I want to attract. I realized that I had to do a lot of healing with myself. I just want to give some tips today on the things that I believe that a person should do after divorce when it comes to actually easing into dating. And I say easing because a lot of times your heart is still healing. I've talked to many people who have divorced, and I definitely understand navigating it myself. But I think a lot of times people spend a long time in their relationship feeling like they don't want to be in the relationship anymore. And a lot of times, when you want to talk about mourning the actual relationship, that happens during the relationship for many people instead of after. But whether you're mourning in the relationship or it's a surprise to you that you're going to be ending a relationship, it's still a healing that takes place after the divorce. Rushing into dating after a divorce may sort of mask things that need to be healed. A lot of times people rush into dating after a divorce because they don't want to be alone. And I get that. When you're partnered with someone, you're married, if you have kids, it becomes a real staple in your life. No matter if it was happy and then it turned into being not so happy, it's still somebody that was there with you no matter what was happening in the relationship. And so when you get used to that, you get used to that type of partnership, especially if you think about you haven't been with anybody for years, it feels very silent. It can feel difficult because honestly, you have to start facing yourself in the mirror. When it's just you at night, when it's just you at dinner, when it's just you and you feel like you don't have anyone to call that you may have shared your day with or what have you, it definitely can present a lonely type of feeling. It definitely can present like you don't want to be alone. But the thing is, how can you really discover who you are unless you're in that place where it's just you? If you're in that place where you're just looking in the mirror at yourself and really being honest and transparent, number one, about who you really are, just singly who you really are. And then two, taking accountability for the things that you may have done wrong. And okay, let me not use the word wrong, but things that you can change so that you don't carry those things into the next relationship. The person that usually you are when you start the relationship is not the person that you are when you end the relationship. Most of the time, people have grown in certain ways, whether it's, aged, of course, if they've been in the relationship for a long time, or just the things that you've been through, right? Your experiences, the wisdom that you have, the things that you want when you get into a relationship and marry somebody aren't necessarily the things that you want at the end of the relationship. So I say all that to say your standards have changed. Your standards have changed for the person that you want to attract in your life. most of the time, you're looking for a different person. Most of the time, the things that have happened in a relationship, a person may go down a list of all of these things that they don't want because it was something that previously happened in the relationship, but they're really not identifying the things that they want now. So it's just like, okay, this person cheated on me. I don't want a cheater. Right. But you haven't identified, okay, I don't want a cheater, but you haven't identified, but I want someone, that shows me affection, that listens to me, that will go and walk in the park with me. So it's not just about identifying the things that you don't want that happened from your previous relationship, your marriage, right? It's also identifying the things that you do want in your new partner that you didn't even realize that you didn't have until you knew you knew that you needed it. So it is so important to be real with yourself. You got to be real with yourself. I wholeheartedly believe you need to read books, you need to do some audiobooks, you need therapy, right? You need therapy. And I don't mean the therapy that comes from your friends that were there that told you, oh, okay, yeah, the relationship is horrible. You guys need to get a divorce, get rid of that person, whatever. No, I'm talking about like real therapy that can really help you navigate this journey that you're on after your divorce. Like, so that you can really be real with yourself and you have somebody to hold you accountable for what is happening to you. It can be so emotional. The divorce brings on so many nuances that you may not even realize that are happening. Just that healing work, that grief that may happen after you get a divorce, it is very real. And if you don't take the time to really discover, number one, how you need to heal. Number two, what are your standards for entering another relationship? You are bound to repeat the same emotional cycle that you did in your marriage. Now, the other thing I want to talk about, of course, is your finances. Because look, depending on your situation with a divorce, a lot of people that go through a divorce, they lose, if they don't lose a lot of it, they lose at least half of it most of the time. And even if they don't lose it, it's still a financial navigation because it's not two people anymore. I don't think that I think that I have rarely talked with people that don't go through a financial stumbling block after a divorce. And let me tell you, if you already don't have control over your finances or understand what's going on, the emotions can take over and you will be spending money in places that may not serve you. um, Spending money on a woman or a man, right? A lot of people pour that into going to date after a divorce because they feel like maybe giving to the other person will have them like them better. I know it sounds weird, but it happens, right? Because we want to feel like somebody wants us. We don't want to feel ignored, or we don't want to feel like we're not valued. So people do, they spend impulsively. Sometimes they go on extravagant dates or vacations or all these things that they can't really afford because they're really wanting to escape healing from the divorce. And they're wanting to feel all that pain with a person by buying them. The fact of the matter is, that's not going to help you when you're healing from a divorce. The pain, the grief, all of the things that you go through, you have to navigate them. Because what if you do find the right person, the person that you want to be with after your divorce, and you start dating them, but because you are not quite healed the way you need to be, and you haven't addressed a lot of things that you need to address, you actually end up hurting this other person. So I know that it can be a lonely place. It is tough. I am not going to sit here and pretend like I don't go through moments where it's like, okay, this feels really weird. Like, it's not so much a feeling of feeling alone, like just like destitute or sad. I don't get sad. It's more of a feeling of I want companionship. And there is nothing wrong with that. I believe that I am in a space now where I definitely feel like I could get out there and start dating. I feel like I'm in a place where um, I'm constantly healing, right? Because healing is a journey. It's not just one space that you sit in and you're like, oh, everything's healed. I'm great. I'm great. No, that's not it. But I do feel like I'm in a space where I can open up more to be able to possibly date. But one thing I definitely know is I know the red flags. I know what I don't want and I know what I do want. And I think that that is very important when you think about meeting a person, starting this new relationship, understanding that because the better that you know who you are, the better that you're going to be open enough to understand who the other person is. Because one thing about it is we can't change other people. So you have to be willing to accept the person as they are and not have a mindset of thinking, oh, okay, this is a new person. Oh, they have this. I don't know about this. I don't know if this is a standard that I've set for myself and all these unknowns and thinking that you're going to change the other person because that's absolutely false. Who are you outside of that marriage that you were in? What are the things that you have really discovered about who you are and what you want, not just from another relationship, but for your life, for yourself? So many times when we're married, we get so caught up in our partnership, and it's a great thing, right? That's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of times we lose individuality to the things that we want the most in our life. And we get so caught up in it, and it's a cycle that you kind of forget about who you are. And so I challenge you, anybody that if you have recently gone through a divorce or it's been a few years and you jump back into dating, it hasn't been so great, or you haven't jumped in at all, just to really take the time to really discover who you are, what you want, what are those little, nuances about yourself that you can love. The trips that you want to take with somebody else, take them with yourself. Go discover who it is that you are. Really understand what your needs are, what your likes are, what are the things that you enjoy. I want to send everybody so much love and light because navigating this part, this new chapter of your life is not easy. Trust me, take it from me. But one thing about it I know is that you will most definitely get through this. You have to tap in to who it is that you are and who it is that you see yourself as this new version of yourself. And you have to forgive yourself for all of the things you may have blamed yourself for, that you had shame around when it came to your marriage. It's time to start fresh. It's time to start anew. It's time to start having accountability and transparency and forgiveness for yourself so that you can find the love of your life, which is ultimately you. So that the person that you do find, that you date, that person matches that new version of yourself, and it becomes something that is absolutely incredible for you. If you can resonate with this video, if you are in a place where you are in need of self discovery, I want you to drop some comments and let me know how your after divorce journey has been for you, especially when it comes to starting to date. Because I need to know that I'm not alone in this for real. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And always remember, you are your greatest value. You are your greatest asset. Take care.